Hey guys, so I'm back with our last video cast on Unit 8. This one's going to be on expressing your emotions. First thing you should know is that some facial expressions are similar across all cultures, and this has a lot of big implications. One of our key people for this unit, Paul Ekman, he studied facial muscle movement, and he did this by testing college-educated students from a variety of cultures all across the world. And what he found was that all the people he tested identified the facial expressions in the same way. So they would see a face and they would identify it as anger. Everyone did. Or they would see a face and identify it as fear. Although fear and surprise were a little mixed up, it doesn't skew the results of his study in general, that people can recognize sad, happy, angry across cultures. Then he elaborates on the study by doing another study. So his purpose for this study is to study facial muscle movement and facial expressions once again. And he tested secluded cultures. So Aboriginal peoples who live in the rainforest and have little to no contact with other cultures is who he studied. And he finds that they too identified the same emotions the same way as the college-educated people. So the key here is that some emotions are universal and that we're born with an understanding of that. People went on later to study infants and even blind infants, and they found that infants and blind infants can make these same facial expressions even though a blind infant had never seen his mother or father or make that expression. So some facial expressions are innate. We're born with it. Alright, so here's some of the universals. Smiling is happiness, frowning is sadness, and then a scrunched brow line, tight lips is anger, that sort of thing. We're going to get more into it in class. We're actually going to hopefully watch a TV show called Lie to Me and watch an episode on that, and it's really good. So, cultural emotion display rules. What this is the rules for expressing your emotion as laid out by your culture, so an environmental construct for you. Examples: American children are taught to express their emotions while Asian children are taught to suppress them or keep them in check. Public displays of affection, they're different throughout the globe, right? And certain people are allowed to display affection in certain ways, whereas others aren't, right? So, let's see, what's a good... Men and women are allowed to kiss in public, although not for too long, right? Then it becomes inappropriate. Um, uh, Men typically are not allowed to kiss each other in public, that sort of thing. What about kissing children? What are the rules for kissing children on the lips? Is that something that you still do in your family? Is it acceptable? Is it not? Nonverbal communication. So this is really interesting because about 90% of our emotional expression is actually nonverbal, which is kind of fun because we really think of our language as being so complex and well developed, but really most of our emotion is not communicated that way. So nonverbal communication can be incredibly telling. First, it can emphasize or match your verbal expression, right? If I'm happy, I'm smiling, right? Or if I'm angry, I say something stern to you and I give you the stern face, the glare, Eli. Or it can be a substitute for verbal communication. When I cross my arms and I'm just quiet and I just stare at you and wait for you to notice me and recognize that I'm probably not too happy with your behavior, that's my substitute for verbally communicating it. And then finally, it can contradict it, right? This is a lot to do with sarcasm as well. So, are you feeling okay today? I'm fine. Right? So my words do not match up with my facial expression. So this can actually reveal hidden emotions. Paul Ekman did a study on micro-expression. So you can actually tell a difference between someone smiling and someone smiling sincerely based on these micro-expressions, right? So your yearbook photos are... That's your fake smile, right? We can tell it's a real smile, a natural smile, and you're actually genuinely happy about something when you get like the crow's feet in the side of your eyes, right? You have that micro expression going on there where your eyes actually smile as well. When you're smiling, your whole face is smiling. People can actually be trained in this, and they can be called like human lie detectors because they can actually tell whether or not you're lying based on these micro expressions that when you're lying, you're not able to naturally replicate. You'd have to train yourself to replicate the micro expressions as well. There's a TV show called Lie to Me, and I think we've mentioned this before in class, but if not, we are actually going to watch an episode of it in class. And the episode explains micro expression and the studies done to use it. So if you're interested in that, you should enjoy that class hour. that is it for this video cast today, guys. I do apologize for there not being any kind of pictures or anything to help us out with this conversation, but I really just wanted to get this information out there to let you guys know that this is the essence of the emotion conversation. And when we get to class, we're going to be doing some fun things, like we're watching that Lie to Me episode. We're going to be talking about body language and practicing body language that opens you up or closes you off and signals that to other people. So we'll talk about communicating with others and how to more effectively communicate them through your body language. And we'll talk a little bit more about universal expression, and especially our three theories that I mentioned in the last video. So that is it for now. Did this not even record?